It's no secret that pitchers nowadays get hurt at an insane rate. So why can't MLB pitchers stay on the field? They chase velocity, is the simple answer. Former pitcher and current color commentator for the New York Mets TV broadcast, Ron Darling, says that when he pitched in the 80s and 90s, he focused on changing speeds and working quickly rather than velocity. Out of 125 pitches thrown in the game, about 10 to 12 of them would be at maximum effort. Today, almost every single pitch is thrown at max effort, making fastballs faster and breaking balls break more. The average fastball velocity in 2002 was 89 miles an hour, while last season it's all the way up to 93.8, a difference of almost 5 miles per hour, which is a huge difference. Dr. Glenn Flessig from the American Sports Medicine Institute made an analogy that the UCL, or ulnar collateral ligament, is like a rubber band. If you take a rubber band and stretch it 80% of the way, you could do that hundreds of times with no problems. But if you stretch it the max amount all the way, it'll eventually break. And pitchers today are experiencing the same amount of strain as they would have used to because they're just throwing so hard. Tommy John surgery is a surgery commonly used to repair a torn ulnar collateral ligament inside the elbow by replacing it with a tendon from somewhere else in the body. The goal of the surgery is to stabilize the elbow, eliminate pain, and restore the range of motion. Tommy John is the guy that the surgery is named after because he was the first pitcher to undergo the surgery. Notable pitchers currently on the injured list due to a torn UCL and Tommy John surgery include two-time Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom, who is the best pitcher I've ever witnessed in my lifetime, 2022 Rookie of the Year runner-up Spencer Strider, and 2022 National League Cy Young Award winner Sandy Alcantara. And along with them, Shohei Ohtani also tore his UCL and is taking the year off of pitching. And despite getting a $700 million contract this offseason, he will only be hitting. And all of the pitchers mentioned have an average fastball velocity of around 97 miles an hour, but they're all capable of throwing 100, and they often do in games. Now, the reason they throw so hard is because it's become the expectation, and future Hall of Fame pitcher Justin Verlander said that he goes all the way back to Little League Baseball. In order to play D1 in college, you gotta throw hard and spin the ball well. He says that he can't even look at his Instagram feed without seeing some kids try to learn to throw as hard as they can at 10 years old. He says that this is because batters are better than they've ever been, so strikeouts are much preferred over weak contact. He says he was never taught this, and he naturally started throwing harder as he matured into his body, rather than being put in some program and being taught how to throw hard. Throwing hard is what gets you scouted and drafted, and the number one overall pick in this past MLB draft, Paul Skeens, has an average fastball velocity of 100.2 miles an hour, which is the fastest in the minor leagues of any starting pitcher. And that's why he just got called up the other day. New York Mets pitcher Jose Quintana made his major league debut in 2012, and his fastball is around 90 miles an hour. And despite his lengthy and overall solid career, he, according to him, would not get drafted nowadays for the sole reason that he does not throw as hard as some of the guys coming up today. So what are the solutions for this? Well, the short answer is there isn't really any, but, there are some proposed ideas. So pitchers don't throw nearly as many innings as they used to because of the extra strain on their arms. But one idea that Justin Verlander is a fan of is that the idea that if a pitcher does not go far into the game, the team will lose their designated hitter, which is the position that bats instead of pitchers because pitchers are all really bad hitters. And it just became universal throughout the whole league instead of just the American League a couple seasons ago. And the proposed rule would make it so that if a team's starting pitcher does not pitch a certain number of innings, they'll lose their DH, forcing the pitcher to hit. And that'll hopefully incentivize pitchers to go deeper into games, forcing them to not throw as hard as they do now, and hopefully increase their stamina, which ideally would lead to less injuries. However, this does have its problems. For example, if a team starter gets absolutely blown up and has a terrible outing, they'll typically get removed within the first few innings, um, and that would cause you to lose your DH under the new rule. And there are also situations where a pitcher is put on a pitch limit if they're coming back from an injury or if they're transitioning into being a starter after working out of the bullpen for a while. So overall, the reason MLB pitchers can't seem to stay on the field is because they throw too hard for their bodies to handle, but they have to do that in order to be the best they can and make it to the big leagues.